Hello! What is happening, people? Apologies to the audio listeners because I'm just setting up the tripod. I think we're set up. Hopefully that looks good. I don't have anyone helping me do this podcast. Basically, I was training with clients today, just in a gym, and we were talking about fitness, we were talking about results, all the good stuff. And on my drive home, I was like, I haven't really made a proper podcast about fitness or about how to actually get into shape, which is literally my full-time job. So this podcast is going to be the complete breakdown of how to go from wherever you're at now. You may be a complete beginner, you may be in the gym, you may be training, but you know that you can get a better result, or it could even be a result not just with fitness, but it can be with sport, it could be with business, it could be with whatever, getting a new job, all the good stuff. This episode will not be an advertisement for my coaching as well. I'm not just going to say join Dialed In. Will that get you into shape? Of course it will. Of course it's going to get you into shape because we have the money back guarantee. But I'm not going to sit here and say join Dialed In, join Dialed In. This will be a complete breakdown of what I do with a lot of the guys inside Dialed In, how I probe them, how I set them up with their goals. So yeah, this will be like completely just how to do it. So yeah, we've got how many steps? I've got my laptop sitting here. We're actually out in the countryside. A car just passed me, just facing a windmill. It's a really nice view. So I've got five steps of how to get into incredible shape. So just going to break them down bit by bit. This podcast is not going to be edited. It's just going to be me talking. It's going to be completely raw. And that's the way I like to have these podcasts. So yeah, we'll crack into it. There's a big light on my phone. I've got the light on to record this. Let me just double check it's recording, just in case. Thank fuck it's recording. I've got the big light on my phone, so it's kind of like blurring my eyes, and I just I've got bullet points here of what to talk about. I can't even really read the bullet points, so I'm just going to have to waffle without the bullet points. Like, I literally can't even read these. So here's the exact strategies. Number one, you first have to look at the past. So what have you done in the past to actually get yourself into shape or to make a change? What were the behaviors? What were the strategies? What were the rituals, the routines that's got you right now to where you are? So if you're overweight, if you're skinny, if you don't have as much muscle as you actually want, first of all, you need to look into why are you in this position? Why are you listening to this podcast? Because this podcast is probably going to be called something like The Blueprint for Change or The Blueprint to Get into Shape. Why are you listening to this? So why are you in this position? So have a think about that. Write it down. What has led you to this moment? First of all. So I'm going to go back to my own example because obviously I'm just going to talk about myself, not going to use any client examples. But in my own example, I'll use me last year because there's different times I've gotten to shape for different things, but last year I was training in the gym. Last year I was actually training quite a lot. I was training like 2 hours a day, but I wasn't seeing results at all. Because I wasn't being specific with what I actually wanted. So for me, beforehand, I was never clear on the goal. I didn't have a strict goal in place. I was also just not looking into the smaller things. I wasn't looking into my sleep. I wasn't looking into my diet. I was training. I was looking at the food I was eating, but I wasn't like tracking calories. I wasn't being specific enough. So I seen that. I got clear on like some bad habits I had, like sleeping in, like not, whenever I said I was going to do something, I wouldn't fall through with it. I had a wee bit of a routine. Like when I was in work, I would show up for my boss. When I had a meeting at 3, I would be at that meeting for 3. But if I told myself I would get up at 7 or half 7 in the morning on the weekend, a lot of the time I just wouldn't have got up at that time. So I was actually just always kidding myself. So that was my past, and that's what led me to that point. So you need to look into your past. What has led you to the point you're at now? Have you not been honest with yourself? Have you not been communicating with people who are in the position that you want to be in and asking them questions for help? Have you been hanging around with the wrong people? Have you been hanging around with people who are big time into drugs, big time into alcohol, that are feeding your bad habits? Are you deprived of people who don't have the good habits that you want to build? Because who you hang out with will dictate the person that you become. So have a think about that. Then also I want you to think about how you speak about yourself. So I've heard it so many times I used to do it myself too, and clients coming on board saying that they have a certain identity. So they may have a bad habit. For example, there's just cars passed. So they may have a bad habit. It might be that they're always negative. And they'll say about themselves, they'll say, right, I am just someone that is a negative Nancy. And they will take on that identity. But they're taking on an identity of negativity. Like, whenever you say you are something, you are going to do things that something is, and you're going to eventually believe that. So if I say that I am a lazy bum, if I say that I am a fat bastard, if I say that I am a skinny cunt, any of that, mind the French, but this is serious stuff, and we're looking to change here. If I identify myself with those negative things, and I say truly about myself, and I say these bad things about myself, well, I am going to start to believe that, and I'm going to become that person. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Whereas if I said, oh no, I'm always positive, oh no, I'm someone that can achieve this result, then I'm going to believe I can achieve that result. And if I believe I can do it, then I'm going to be able to do it. So you may say, oh, I'm just someone that can't get out of bed on the first alarm. I need 6 alarms. You don't. You've built habits that has made it so you rely on those 6 alarms, but you can also, what you learn, you can unlearn. Remember that. Sorry for slapping my knuckles, I'm not sorry. But what you learn, you can unlearn. So realize that you are not one thing. You can be whoever you want. You can take on any habits that you want. You do not have 0 willpower. You are not a binge eater. You are someone in the past who may have binge ate because of different things, which you need to look into right, what actually causes me to do this. Everything that you do will have a set reason behind that. So instead of identifying yourself with that thing, just say that, all right, in the past I've done this thing, I am going to figure out how to unlearn this thing. So I'm going to figure out how to actually make sure I can get up out of bed on time. For me, a Whoop really helps. I don't sell Whoops, but it just helps because it vibrates and it gets me out. Or you could buy a certain alarm clock that wakes you up with light instead of sound. There's apps on your phone that you can actually play a game. It forces you to solve a puzzle and get out of bed to actually turn off the alarm. There's different things like that. So instead of identifying yourself with, I am this thing, realize you are not that thing. You can be whatever the fuck you want. So if you want to be someone that is consistent, someone that can follow a routine, that can follow a plan, you can do that. So stop saying that, oh no, it doesn't work for me. Because every single person who's gotten into shape probably had a time where they said it wouldn't work for me. But it can. It can. There's no difference between you and the person you want to be. So remember that. The way you speak about yourself is so important. So never say negative things about yourself. Never say, I am this, I am that, unless it's good things. Of course, say that good stuff. I am someone that's consistent. I am someone that's productive. Things like that. But I'm not a big manifestation guy. This is different because this is all about action too. So yes, that is the first point. So what limiting beliefs do you have too? So is there anything that you think that you could never do? Is there anything that actually holds you back that you tell yourself? Has anything in the past ever happened to you that has made you this way? Was it a breakup? Was it getting rejected before? Was it losing a certain friend that you used to train with? Whatever that is, that could have led you to this point. So that's point number 1 done. Get really, really clear on what has led you to this. And then that's when we can get into the fun stuff. That's where you can get into the goal. So who you were before, now who do you want to be now? So the goal, you need to figure out, first of all, short term. So what do you want to actually see like within the next few weeks? What do you want to achieve within the next few weeks? And you need to make it realistic. So short term, say within a month, make it realistic. So don't say, all right, I have to lose 10 kg. I have to gain so much muscle, because that's you setting yourself up to disappoint yourself. And if you say, I have to do all this, and you don't follow through with all that, then you're going to be disappointed and you're going to give up, which is probably why you're in the position you are right now. So, sorry, there's a person walking past, so it's kind of put me off. I'll just keep talking. She'll just think I'm on FaceTime or something. But yeah, so think about right, short term, what is success for me? And it can even limit it down to small things, so then you can get those quick wins straight away. And if you can get quick wins straight away, you create a positive feedback loop. And if you have a positive feedback loop, that means that you are guaranteed to be successful. Sorry, I'm letting this person walk past because I'm so awkward. But yeah, so you want to create a positive feedback loop. So say, right, what does success look like for me? Is it just nailing routines, habits, and rituals? Just said that. That's what I do with a lot of our guys. Like the first few weeks, it's just like, right, let's nail weighing ourselves, let's nail tracking our food, and let's nail our sessions. Let's not think, okay, I need to lose this amount in the first month. Let's not think that I need to change the world within the first month. We can do that after. We can focus on that after, but we need those quick wins first of all. So lower the bar first month, and then think, right, more medium term, what I want to see. What do I want to see? Say, like, if you're listening to this right now, it is the end of March, coming into April. If you're listening to this right now, what do I want to do in summer? Or what do you want to do in the next 6 months' time? So what are the actual physical changes you want to see? So do you want to lose 5 kg, 10 kg? Do you want to gain muscle? What sort of physique do you want? What sort of change do you want? Maybe it is with business, maybe it is with your lifestyle, maybe it is with your mindset. Get clear on that. And that's why we do the habits, rituals, routines first of all, because those habits, rituals, routines set us up. And then if we follow through that, that's where you actually see the results, the medium term, so 6 months down the line. So get very clear on that, and then make sure you have the action steps that's going to get you there. And then this is the fun part. Think about from getting this result, because the shocking thing is that 80% of people who actually get a result end up going back to square one. So like if there were 10 people, they all got into great shape, 8 of them would actually go back to the way they were before. Only 2 of them would actually keep that result. So you want to be the type of person that actually keeps the result, because there's no point getting a result if you're just going to go back to the way you were before, because that means you're starting here, you go up here, you achieve everything you want, you fall back down, and that fall down, that is literally just going to hurt you so much. So you want to start here, slowly move up, and then keep moving up forever. So that's why you need to think, right, from achieving this here goal, how is that going to benefit? How is that going to benefit me? How is it going to change me and impact me for the long term? What is it actually going to do for me? How is it going to impact me professionally, personally, fitness-wise? How is it going to impact people around me? From getting a great result, will I be able to impact other people? Other people will see that and they will want to make a change. So I will be the person that makes someone else want to make a change, which I actually initially needed. You need to think of it that way. How is it going to impact the people, like your friends around you? If your friends see you do that, they might want to get into shape as well. And that's what's going to fuel you. That's what's actually going to keep your head in the game. When you're so clear on that why, it's so important to know that why on a deep personal level, and have someone else that knows your why too. So maybe your friend, make sure you tell your friend. That's why I get all my clients, I'm constantly probing them, right, what is your why? Remember the why. Because when you know the why, you are going to follow through with hitting your steps. You are going to hit your gym sessions. You are going to hit your food when you're clear on that why. But if you're not clear on the why, it's like, why the fuck would I want to hit steps? Why the fuck would I want to eat this food when I could eat junk food? You're going to want to eat the junk food because we're humans and we are addicted to that. Like, it's addictive food. But then if the why is strong enough, that counters that. And then as a result, you're going to actually go for the thing that is going to help you achieve your goal. So get clear on that why. Not just how it'll impact you, how it'll impact other people, how it will build you up to that future version of you, how it will allow you to reach your potential. What is your potential? Is it going to help you in your career? Of course it will. Get into incredible shape. Finally following through with what you say you're going to do. That's going to help you with everything. That's going to help you with your family life. So you need to realize how important this is as well. If you don't know how important it is, you're not going to stick with it. So get very, very clear on that why and let someone know about that why as well. Whether it's a friend, a family member, even text me on Instagram your why. Break it down for me. Send it over and I'll hold you accountable. So yes, get clear on that why. Get clear on the fucking why. That is point number 2. So the second thing is get clear on the goals. So the first thing, get clear on what took you here, your problem and your struggles. 2, get clear on your goals. Number 3 is actually a bit more tangible. It's the boring stuff. What are the actual action steps that you need to hit every single day? Because we can say, right, I want to achieve these amazing things, but what do you actually need to do every single day to achieve these amazing things? So for example, if you want abs, for example, you need to hit your food and you need to hit your step goal. So get clear on that. Get clear on like how much food you actually need to eat. So work out your calorie deficit. Get yourself in that deficit and make sure you're making changes as you go. Work out how many steps you need to do. Work out, like, if you do like cardio, how much cardio to add in. Do you have a training plan? Make sure you're hitting that training plan. When are you going to recover? When are you going to eat? What times are you going to eat? You need to work out all the boring stuff then. Work out, right, okay, what am I going to eat? What food do I like? What food's high in protein, low in calories? Get really clear on that. And those action steps is actually the only difference between you and the person you want to be, because near enough everyone has the same goal. Everyone wants to get into good shape. Everyone wants a six-pack. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people want a six-pack, but not a lot of people have one. And the difference is the actual things you do every day. So get clear. How much water do I need? How much sleep am I going to need? How important is sleep going to be for me? Get clear on all that, and that is what is actually going to drag you forward. So you need those action steps, and if not, you're just mentally masturbating. Oh, I'm going to achieve this, I'm going to achieve that. You're never going to achieve it if you don't do the actual shit. Sorry, there's a person walking up and I'm kind of getting awkward again. So yeah, get clear on those habits, the routines, the behaviors that's actually going to move yourself forward. And also just the people you hang about with. Like, realize that if you're hanging out with people every single week that aren't conducive with where you want to go, if you're hanging out with people that are, say you want to give up drink for a part of a time, you don't have to give up drink forever. If you want to give up drink for maybe a month, or maybe you don't have to give up drink to get a great result. If you want to just diet, but you're always with mates who are like eating takeaways, and that's okay, you can still hang out with them. But if they're actually like, oh, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And they're like battering you and they're stopping you from being who you want to be, you need to realize that that's going to hold you back. And that's okay, you can still hang out with those people and get a great result, but it's going to be a lot more easy if you maybe distance yourself from those people. If you love those people and they're great, yes, but too many times I see people and their friends aren't really their friends. Their friends are people that just want to hold them back to their level. Because the truth is, whenever you start working on yourself, whenever you start making a change, you become a reminder to those people of what they're not doing. Because again, we all have the same goals. Like, you and your mate might both want to get abs. You and your mate might want that amazing summer body. But if you get that summer body and your friend doesn't, that's going to hurt them. So if your friend sees you nailing your food, if your friend sees you, or I put friend in quotation marks, obviously your actual friend isn't going to do this, but if your friend sees you nailing your food and judges you, says, why are you doing that? If your friend sees you going out and getting steps, why are you doing that? If your friend sees you hitting your gym session and says, why are you doing that? It's because they know that you're going to get a great result, and it's scaring them, and they're like, fuck. Like, it's not going to be good for them, because you will just be a reminder of what they haven't done. So realize that too. So make sure you're hanging out with people that actually are, like, they're in line with your goals. Like, if you're, this is an extreme example, but if you were an addict and you're trying to get off drugs, you would need to cut out your addict friends. You couldn't hang out with other people that are taking drugs every day, because that would just constantly remind you of who you don't want to be and that old version of you. And that's an extreme approach, but it's what works. So make sure you're with people that are actually doing what you want. And that's obviously why I focus on community a lot with Dialed In, and meeting clients and making sure clients are meeting each other. Like, for example, that gym session we hit. Again, not a pitch. If you want to join Dialed In, just let me know. But this is without Dialed In. But like, even your friends that do go to the gym, reach out to them. Or maybe you have a mutual friend, you know they go to the gym, but you're not really friendly. You're kind of friendly. You might have talked to them before. Maybe reach out to them. Do you want to hit a session? And they may feel a bit lonely too. So it'll help you both. So make sure your community, make sure your circle is right too. Because that is the main thing I see holding people back. And sometimes it can even be family. Like, for a lot of times, family, even when I diet, and I've been dieting for years now, since I first got abs when I was 14. Obviously I had to give up, well, I didn't have to give up bread. You don't have to give up bread to get abs. When I was 14, I had no education, gave up bread, got abs. From when I was dieting from 14, when I did my competition at 17, when I got lean for different events in summer, every time I diet, my family are like, why are you doing this? And I just have to clear it out and tell them why. And a lot of the time they still don't understand, and they're still going to be like, oh, do you want this Indian? And I'm like, no, I'm dying at the moment. I'm just going to cut it out for now. Or like, oh, well, do you want it? But it's like, it's only for a part time. You need to realize it's not forever. And that's another big thing. Like, people are so scared of giving something up. People are so scared of giving up drink for a few weeks. They're scared of giving up takeaways for a few weeks. But you need to realize it's not forever. Because once you get into shape, after you get lean, you can slowly build up. You can get more flexible. I don't want to bore you with science, but it's the process of metabolic adaptation. After you get lean, if you slowly reverse out and slowly build up, then you can actually maintain that leanness while getting bigger. And maintain that leanness while moving up your food. So you can actually be eating more than you were initially while being in incredible shape. And that's what I like at the moment. Last year I got very, very lean. Don't even need a cut this summer. I'm still lean now. I'm on a lot of food. I'm on more food than I know what to do with. So you need to realize, like, last year, that work I put in, whenever I made sacrifices, whenever I said no to takeaways, it's paid off now, because now I'm in shape that I'm happy with. Obviously, I don't think anyone's truly happy with their shape. You're always going to push that next level. But now I'm in the best shape I've ever been, while being the leanest I've ever been, and I'm eating more food than I know what to do with, because of the fact that last year I made sacrifices. So you need to realize it's not forever. Don't get scared away. So many people get scared away. They're like, I can't do this. First of all, that's a limited belief. You're saying that you're someone that can't do it. You're someone that can do it, because you can do anything. So just realize you can do it. I lost my train of thought because there was another car that passed, but realize you can do it. You can do it, and it's not going to be forever. So don't be scared. Don't think this is going to be forever. I could never give up takeaways forever. You're not going to have to give up takeaways forever. Chill out, chillax. You're not going to have to give up alcohol forever. Chillax. You can do this in a way so then long term it will be flexible. Yes, if you want to get in incredible shape in like 8 weeks, in like a really short time period, there's going to be sacrifices during those 8 weeks. But after that, you build up and you get more flexible. So it's not going to be forever. So don't be scared of that. Sorry, my notes have disappeared off my laptop. And that's a massive thing. Like, see, giving up after a few weeks and thinking it's not for you, that's not going to get you anywhere. And you may have done that before. You may have committed to something, but you may have ended up giving up because you thought it wasn't for you. But realize, anyone who's went through that, they probably felt it wasn't for them. And the reason getting into shape is hard is because everyone isn't in shape. If getting in shape was easy, every single person would be in shape, and there would actually be no value in getting into shape. You probably wouldn't even want to get into shape if everyone was in quote unquote shape, because it would just be the new norm. So realize the reason that what you're doing is difficult is because a lot of people haven't achieved it. But that means the rewards of actually achieving that is going to be so much greater, because you know that you put in work, you know you put in sacrifice, and people around you will know that too. When you're on the beach at your holiday and people see the shape that you're in, they're going to know that you put in hard work. So that's why it's worth doing the hard work, because if it was, you need to you need to realize that getting into shape, you know it's going to be hard if you want to get into incredible shape. So when it gets hard, realize this is what hard feels like. I took that from Alex Hormozy, if anyone's going to try to call me out. Getting into shape is hard. Realize that it will be hard, but it will be worth it. And it is worth it because it is hard. If it wasn't hard, it wouldn't be worth it, and no one would want it. So yeah. It's also hard going on a holiday and not being in the shape that you want. It is also hard realizing that your whole life you've told yourself that you wanted to be this certain person and do these certain things, but you've never actually followed through with that. In my opinion, that is fucking 100 times more harder. If I look back and I realized that I had made zero progress after wanting to achieve so much, and I'd seen other people make progress that I actually wanted to make too, that would hurt me way more than saying no to a takeaway would hurt me, way more than being in a calorie deficit would hurt me, way more than hitting a gym session when I don't want to would hurt me. And that may be a quote unquote extreme approach, but it's the truth that a lot of people won't tell you online. Because online it's very, very easy to say, oh yeah, you don't need to cut this out, you don't need to cut that out, and you don't need to cut it out forever. But if you want a quick result, if you want a fast result, if you want to make a change, it is good to say no to these things. It is good to have a bit of willpower and to show that you have willpower, because we all have potential, and a lot of people's potential are wasted. And I want to do my bit to make sure people don't waste that potential, because we can all achieve amazing things. But if we live by horrible habits, if we sleep in, if we don't wake up and do what we said we were going to do, we are doing a disservice to the world. We are. I had someone tell me that they were massively into music and they were working a full-time 9 to 5. They were sleeping in the weekends. They were sleeping in too. I said, why don't you upload content and wake up early in the weekends and actually do your music and do content about the music, so then you might get more recognition? And they said, yeah, no, but I need my downtime. And I said, but do you not feel that you need to make music your full-time thing because it's your passion and you know you have the potential to impact the world from your music? And then they said, well, they haven't actually got back to me yet. That's what I said last time. But my point is that, yeah, these things are hard, but you need to realize the impact it's going to have. And you're letting yourself down, you're letting other people down, and you're cheating the life that you could live if you tell yourself these limiting beliefs and you live by that. And that's not a life worth living, because you can be an epic human. And yeah. Last thing, this podcast is ending very, very soon. What happens if you don't change? Get clear on that. Get clear on what happens if you do change, who you could be, who you could impact, all of that. Get really excited about that, because then you're chasing something and you want to be chasing something. You want to be seeing the impact you can have, but also get clear on what happens if nothing changes. What happens if in 10 years' time you look back and you think about all the goals that you set for yourself, you didn't achieve one? What happens in 10 years' time you look down and you're not in the shape that you want to be, and you've never been in the shape that you want to be? Or you never followed through with getting the job that you wanted, opening the business that you wanted, because you just were the person that would always cheat themselves. What happens? What would that lead to? And I'll leave you on that. So if you've listened this far, you probably want to get into incredible shape, or you probably want to make a massive change, or maybe you just like my podcast. And I appreciate you too for listening to my podcast, and I appreciate everyone watching this, because if you've watched a podcast for this far, you are someone that clearly wants to make a big impact on the world, because most people will just doom scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. You may be subscribed to this podcast, you may have seen me put out my story. You actually chose to, instead of scrolling, instead of wasting about, you chose to listen to something to improve yourself. So we both know that you want to improve yourself. What is stopping you from improving yourself? You probably know the impact you can have through what you can do. So fucking do it and get it done and dial the fuck in. That doesn't mean you have to join my coaching. I'm happy enough to help people online for free, just like in the videos, like in these podcasts. If you do want to inquire about coaching, go for it. I'll let you know. And if you don't, that's fine. I'll see you in the next podcast, and hopefully I can impact you, either or. Hopefully this podcast impacts you. You might be a client of mine, you might not be. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And if this podcast has helped, make sure to send me a message on Instagram, or if you do know me personally or you're a client, just send me on WhatsApp. And yeah, I hope it has, because it's definitely a podcast that I wish I could have listened to here a year and a half ago when I actually needed that help. And that's it. Rate and review too. It helps. It's the year of the Dialed In. Don't get left behind.